Aloha, all of my paranormal people. Welcome once again to another exciting and mind blowing episode of Insane Disappearances as I delve into the mystery of all of the vanishing people that disappear in our national parks and our forests and in our urban areas and sometimes in our backyard. And I, once again, am your host, and I will be reading a case today about a man named Michael Ficery. I guess I got that name right. I hope I didn't butcher that. But anyway, he was at the age of 51 when he disappeared on 6/15/05 on the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir at Yosemite National Park in California. He was about 5'10", 165 pounds. Now, Michael Ficery, a resident of Santa Barbara, obtained a wilderness permit for the backside of Hetch Hetchy Reservoir on June 15, 2005, the date he was last seen. Now, Michael had initially taken the northern trail but changed his path and decided to take the Pacific Crest Trail. The wilderness permit expired June 19th, and Michael did not return. On June 21st, the Ficery family contacted the National Park Service and a SAR was initiated. Now, SAR, that's search and rescue. Searchers found Michael's backpack off the trail near Till Mountain I'm sorry, not in the location which he had planned to be. Searchers described the area as extremely rugged and hazardous and could not find evidence of Michael. Missing from the backpack was his camera, water bottle, and topo map. Michael disappeared in proximity of Walter Reinhardt on September 20th, 2002, near White Wolf. Karen Caldwell was the Yosemite Press Information Officer at the time of Michael's disappearance. She stated that Michael was very physically fit and the searchers had a good opportunity to find him. Karen stated that 4 helicopters, search dogs, and ground searchers were utilized in the SAR for Michael. He was never found. Now, one thing that I've noticed about some of these cases is that when you have someone who is going into the wilderness to take pictures, of wildlife and stuff like that, and they somehow vanish without a trace as they're going into the woods or into the national park, their cameras disappear with them every single time. Now, there was a case about a young girl, 14 years old. Her name was Stacy Ann Harris. Now, her case was can't remember the year right now, but like I said, she was around 14. I think this was in either the mid 70s, early 80s. She was on horseback with her father and some friends of theirs in a campsite, in the mountains. Now, she wanted to take a picture of a lake that was near a boulder field, which was adjacent to the campsite where everybody was staying at. She goes down near the lake, and there's like a line of trees that surrounded the lake in the area where she was. I'm guessing, well, from what the eyewitness account said, it was an older man. I think he was around 72 years old. He saw her as she walked down into this area where the lake was, and he saw her walk between a path near some trees that was surrounding the lake. That was the last she's ever been seen. Now, when she never came back, the search and rescue teams and the National Park Service, they searched for her, all over for days. They never found her. What they did find, though, was the lens to her camera. Well, the lens cap to her camera, that is. And that was all they ever found of her. She's never been found. But like I said, the only thing they did find of her was the lens cap to her camera. And like I said, in a lot of cases, if a person has a camera or a cell phone, the cell phone is either smashed to pieces or it disappears right along with the person that went missing. Now, in his case, it was pretty much the same thing. And it's just a normal situation for anybody who likes to camp out or who likes to hike or who just likes to be in the wilderness, They it's a normal routine for them, and it's never anything that they realize is wrong. It's just a normal day for them. They go out into the wilderness and they just never come back. And so something happens to them between point A and before they get to point B. They just, in between the trail or their hike or whatever the case may be, they just vanish without a trace. And no evidence has ever been found of anyone who's disappeared in that manner. And this has been happening for centuries. There's tons of stories of people that vanish without a trace. And there's tribes that disappear, captains on ships. There's one story about a captain, it was in Michigan. He was on his ship, and he went to his cabin, and when his crew came to look for him, they never found him, because they knew where he went to. They went to his cabin, so they went down to his cabin quarters to find him, and he wasn't there. The porthole windows were closed. Plus the fact a porthole window is not big enough for anyone to actually squeeze through, and so there was nowhere for him to go. He just seemingly just vanished into thin air, And so with a case like this, it's pretty much similar to all the other cases where he just never comes back. And the bad part is there's never any evidence that leads up to what might have happened to him. Okay, they know he left his home or his workplace to go hang out in the wilderness. They just know he went. They don't know his routine, or they didn't know his routine. They don't know what path he walked. And even if they did know, somewhere between when he got to the park and before he got to where he was, there was just no trace of him at any cost. I'm pretty sure there was some footprints of him walking towards the spot where he wanted to go to, but other than that, that's it. Nothing else. But that's all I have on that story. There's another one about a young man named Jeff Estes. He was about 25 when he disappeared. He disappeared on May 24th, 1976 at Snow Creek, on the Snow Creek Trail in Yosemite National Park, California. Now see, once again, another key point. A lot of the cases where people vanish is always in Yosemite National Park or the other national park. So I'm having a little brain fart right now, so I can't think of the name of it right now, so don't pay me no mind. But anyway, this was a real small case file in the story because there really wasn't that much information on him. But it was actually an article where they found some information on him, and it was called Vanishing by Ray Jones on page 62. I'm guessing that was a book or a magazine, I'm not sure. But there was nothing available on any local, state, or national database regarding Jeff Estes. The entry in Vanishing states that Jeff was a bus dispatcher in Yosemite, but took a day to drive to Tioga Pass on Highway 120 and take the Snow Creek Trail to May Lake. He had intended to spend the night and return the following morning. He never returned. A massive search did not locate Mr. Estes. Now, in a particular and odd coincidence, Snow Creek runs one valley east of the trail that Timothy Barnes disappeared on July 5th, 1988. Now, if you were listening to my blog, I did talk about this guy in one of my previous videos. Now, these two locations are less than a half a mile from each other and only one valley apart. Both are located on Tioga Pass Road at an elevation of near 8,500 feet. So, like I said, that was a pretty short case file on this guy because there really wasn't that much to say about him. All I know is that he went out there and he vanished, in between his trip to wherever he was trying to go. Now, did he reach the area where he was actually planning to go? Nobody really knows. They just know he was going there, and somewhere along that path, that's when he just vanished without a trace. And that's one thing about these cases that I don't like, and that really creeps me out, is the fact that you never know what they're going through. You never know what happened. You never know if they were screaming or if they saw what took them. But maybe one day we will find out, and hopefully my videos will open people's eyes, and they will begin to do the same thing. So I would advise anyone to, if you want to find out more about these cases, you can go to canammissing.com. That's David Paulides' website on all the cases that he has talked about in his interviews. But he also, like I said, has books out. And he has a lot of volumes to Missing 411. This is his first volume. He has at least about 6 books out now, I believe. One of them is a book that's centered around all of the hunters that vanished without a trace. Now, as I stated before in most of my videos, it's a list of what you need to do to keep yourself safe when going into the national park or the forest. And that is to always carry a personal transponder locator. If you have a license to carry a gun, always carry one with you. Now, if you get lost, take your gun, pull the trigger, and fire it 3 times into the air every 20 minutes so that someone will notice that you are actually lost, and that will help them find you. And also, if you're traveling with a group, always make sure you stay within that group, and I mean a tight group. I don't care if you guys have to walk back to back, on a trail if you're, going hiking or whatever the case may be. But you never want to run ahead of anyone that you're traveling with or fall behind. I know people get tired, but if you're gonna sit down and rest, I would suggest everyone sit down and rest. Everybody do things as a team and stay together. Now, you don't want to run ahead of anyone, saying like something like, "Oh, I'm gonna run ahead. I'm gonna go around this bend right here, and I'll meet you guys at a certain spot," or whatever the case may be. When they get up and they go to where that person should have been, they're nowhere to be found. And then 2 weeks later, this person is found hundreds of miles away from where he was last seen, in a box canyon somewhere, or underneath a prickly bush, or in a creek bed face down with hardly any clothes on except for your underwear. Weird, yes. And even more weird part of these cases is that everyone that is found dead, the coroners can't find a cause of death at all. I'm talking like it's just a lifeless corpse. So something zapped their energy to the point where they didn't have enough to keep themselves alive, or there's some kind of a spirit drinker out there, or a soul drinker. Who knows? I don't know. But that's just my theory in the paranormal sense of what's going on here. And the funny thing about all that is there's a lot of people out there that are too afraid to even talk about this stuff or ask the questions that they really want to ask, no matter how weird or no matter how creepy it may sound to someone else. But when all else fails, and I do mean logical thinking of what's really happening, the only thing you have is the illogical, or the, when I say illogical, I mean all the crazy questions, like did aliens take this person, or did they walk into some dimensional portal that led them to a dimension where they couldn't come back from, where they, and possibly was forced to live a life in a place that they were not familiar with. Nobody knows. That's the mystery in all these cases. But those are my theories. And if you want to find out more about my theories, or if you want to hear more of my theories, just if you like the video, like and subscribe below. And the next time you come to my page, I will have new cases to read, and I guarantee you that I will be reading cases as much as possible. So stay tuned, everybody. But gotta go. Always imparting aloha, mahalo, and uwiho, which means to meet again. All right, English guys, be blessed.